Hello, I'm Terence Blacker, the author of Missy, the Clet title, and I've been asked by Clet to talk a little bit about the writing of it and how it might help you teach pupils of English through a story. The reason why I really enjoyed writing this team reader was very surprising to me, because I thought at first having to write a chapter that the whole group of readers would enjoy and then going off into 3 different little levels of writing, I thought that would be a little bit prescriptive and would restrict my storytelling. But in fact I find it very, very interesting, because what I did, Missy is a ghost story set in a modern school. So it's a school, so it combines the past, some some dramatic things that have happened in the past, and a present day school. And the way I've told it is through 3 characters who each have their own little drama, and who each of them have their own way of speaking. So they all tell their story together in some chapters, and then they have their own chapters. And the 3 characters I have in Missy, which I really enjoyed writing, because you realize that once you get the way people talk, you get into their characters. So there are 3 characters who represent 3 different stories, but also 3 different levels of English. So and what I liked about the story was it's not necessarily the most sophisticated speaker and person who's got the main story. So I suppose the most sophisticated is a girl called Tree, whose name was Katrina. She's tall, she's gangly, she's very striky, so she's a black girl. She's very much envied by the class, and she's very bright. And her backstory is, I think her parents are probably in the media. She's she's the sort of person who always says the wrong thing, but sort of somehow gets away with it. So she is the leader of this band, which is, there's a band of 3. It's a musical band, but it's also a band of friends. And the second one, and so she writes at quite a sophisticated, she speaks at a quite sophisticated level of English. And there are little bits of in her parts of the story which are from old newspapers, so some of the language is a little more complicated. The middle level of complication is represented by a boy called Jamie, who's also in Tree's class. And his parents, I think, they're probably professional, they're very ambitious for him, and they're slightly disappointed in Jamie. And Jamie is one of these boys who just he's not at the top and he's not at the bottom, he's slightly invisible, and he's at that stage in his life where he's wondering who he is. And so he is at the center of the story of Missy. So his level of speaking and English is in the middle range of complexity. And then almost the most important character, and one I really like, is Marco, who is in a class below. He's slightly younger, but who was latched on to Tree because she stuck up for him when he was being bullied. And he doesn't have a mother and father. They've left him. He's looked after by his grandmother, who drinks a bit. He is always in trouble. And he speaks in very, very simple, direct language. So his style is at the very bottom. So between them, these 3 tell the story. And once every few chapters, they each get together. But what I liked about writing this story was they each have their own little dramas. Marco has a drama of his own. His whole life has been a drama, but this is another one. Tree has a drama in that she has a big conflict of loyalty, but in the middle there's Jamie, whose parents are ambitious. I love writing about ambitious parents. There's nothing funnier than writing about parents who think their children should be doing better than they are, and who hate the word average. They don't want their child to be average. They want them to be absolutely at the top. So Jamie's got these very ambitious parents, and he is the dramatic centre of it all. So these three chapters, it's been a completely new experience for me writing a team reader, because it's all through these three characters and these three levels of English. So I hope it works as a story in itself. I think it does, because people who didn't even know it was educational seem to have enjoyed it. But at the same time, I hope these three different levels, which are levels of sophistication but not of importance. I mean, each of these characters is important in their story. So I hope that it'll be of interest to your pupils learning English, and that they'll benefit it. But above all, I hope they enjoy the story, because that's what I do. I write stories. I'm not a teacher. But I hope you enjoy the book. And in a moment, I'm going to read 3 little extracts to give an example of how each of them sound. We really need an actor to do the different things, but I'll do the 3 voices as well as I can, and that will be in the second half of this talk.